guys, with April almost here, I thought that I should probably go through how I plan out the month ahead as well as how I started planning out the year. And I've never used a calendar before, that's just not my style. And so it was very interesting using a calendar for the first time. I took a lot of ideas from bullet journaling, but I don't spend time on the artsy stuff, so I wouldn't necessarily call it bullet journaling. So I got this little notebook, The Princess Story, from Wabi Sabi, which is a Japanese store that's in Bend, Oregon, and it has a lot of blank pages, and then as well as like year-long calendars, to-do lists, contact numbers, and it just repeats. And then it also has monthly calendars and weekly calendars. And then it just has a whole bunch of cute little kittens at the bottom. And so I opened it up by saying what I wanted to focus on this year. I dubbed 2018 the year of the kitten because I wanted to focus on creativity and play. It's my last year in college. I'm gonna start doing new things in my art field, and that's really what I wanted to focus on. I want to make sure I'm nice and relaxed this year and just having fun with everything I do. And so I made a list of things I wanted to focus on. I separated them into two categories, career and adventure. Under the adventure category, I want to go to iFly this year, which I will probably do when I move to a new city. There is one in Chicago, but I just don't see it happening this month, and I'm graduating at the end of the month after next. So that wasn't something that I took into account when I started writing this in 2018. I didn't know if I was going to graduate at the end of this term or if I was going to graduate at the end of fall term. So something else that I put under the adventure category was just new city. I still have no idea where I'm moving. I just know that I am moving at some point this year to some place that is not Chicago and some place that is not Oregon, hypothetically, unless Leica decides to hire me. Hi Leica. I probably submitted my resume to you already. Looking at you. But then under my career stuff, I have graduate, I have trying to get published. I've submitted my novel to 3 publishers right now. I want to see if any of them get back to me. Some of them say no simultaneous submissions, so I don't want to send it out to a ton of people, but I have a list of about 10 publishers that I will be submitting to, and if they all turn me down, then I'll just write another book and submit that one instead, and maybe I'll self-publish the one I wrote. I don't know. But then I also have YouTube on here because this is the first year I'm using YouTube, and I feel like this is a really great way to connect with people my own age since I don't use most other social media types. And then I have reading more and blogging more. So I've been running my blog since 2015, but it never really got off the ground because I'd usually stop working on it a couple of weeks after January 1st, like most New Year's resolution goes. But not this year. This year I have posted every week. I haven't necessarily posted every Thursday like I was expecting to. Sometimes I forget that it's like Thursday. I don't know what day of the week it is that I post. I think it's Thursdays, but maybe not. But then I put down all the days that I was going to blog on my notebook so that I would remember. And so I wanted to start with the future log. You can see this is every day of the year, and then I just mark off the day as it goes by, which really gives me a sense that time is passing and the year is creeping closer and closer. But then there's also all of these little blue marks. Those are the days that I post blogs, and I post vlogs 2 days before that, I believe. And so you can see this really dark blue right here. That is 20 blogs. That is also the day that my parents fly out after my graduation. So some of the few things that I actually have written on here are like when my parents fly in, when I graduate. I have Easter, the job fair that's coming up, which I kind of need to go to, when I need to pick up my tickets for graduation. I have when a big paper is due. None of my tests or anything are on here because those aren't things that I prep for weeks in advance. Those are more, I realize that I need to prep for my test and I do. and it's never failed me yet, so I'm gonna keep going with it. You can see that the first month is a lot fuller than all of the rest of the months. That's because there was a lot going on and I didn't know how much I was going to be using the actual monthly calendar. Like I said, I've never used a monthly calendar before. I thought I was just going to be putting everything in the future log. And so I have like some travel times, going to a party, flying to Chicago, moving in, my mom's birthday. I have days when I filmed, when classes start, when I had an advising session, and then also days when I needed to film. And most of January I was at home, so I didn't have college, so I was able to travel and plan out each day quite a bit more than now that I'm here. And I know, okay, Mondays I have class at 8:30 in the morning, so I'm not going to Wisconsin on Monday at 8:30 in the morning. You can see at the bottom here, I've broken the year into 4 sections. The first section goes to the end of March, so I have 2 days left on the day that I'm filming this, and the focus for that is school and writing. Like I said, I was starting to submit to publishers in February. I finished editing my novel in January, and this month I've started writing my next novel. I'm about 60,000 words into it at this point. I was hoping to have more of it done, but I got distracted. I wanted to start a new project, and I did start the new project, and I'm bad about starting a lot of new projects. But then the next 3 months is school and career. I'm going to be graduating. I need to be focusing on all of my schoolwork, and then also I need to start applying for jobs and knowing where to move, and then I'll be establishing my new career in my new city for probably the next month after that, I'd imagine. And then the next 3 month section is career and videos. I want to start putting out probably 2 videos a week, July, August, September. I don't know if that's actually going to come to fruition because that's several months in the future and I don't know where I'm going to be living or what job I'm going to have, but I'd like to really start focusing on putting out more videos or more blog posts, or just really focusing down on making an online presence. And then also career. Once I've been working at a place for 6 months, either it's going to be an internship and I'm going to have to find a new job, or I might discover that it isn't exactly the right job for me and want to find a different job, or I might be moving up to other jobs or starting to work in the film industry if I only started to work at a prop house. My life is going to be interesting for the rest of the year. Let's keep it at that. And then the last 3 months I have career and travel. So career is basically something that is across the whole year, but travel specifically in these last 3 months is going to be really important. Once I have my job secure and I know how much rent is going to cost and how much money I'm going to spend on food every month, I really want to start saving money to move to Japan. Not to move to Japan. God, I'm not moving to Japan, Mom, don't worry. I want to start saving money to go to the 2020 Olympics in Japan, and I'd like to get there before the Olympics actually start and travel around Japan and see everything. And so I have a goal this year to save $1,600, which is the current price for round-trip tickets to Japan. And even if that changes, that's still pretty good money to have saved to go on that trip. And considering what I was making on my other jobs, I don't think that'll be the most impossible thing in the world, depending on how expensive wherever I move is. And you can see I also have a list of goals and rewards on a later page. So like my top one is graduate with a 4.0. I have a 3.97. One teacher gave me a B. But maybe it will just round up to a 4.0 once I graduate this term with all A's again. And then I have send World War Marlowe to all of the publishers, have 20 subscribers on YouTube, which I'm still working towards, but is going a lot faster than I expected. I have 6 right now, a fourth of the way through. Read 6 books for fun. I blew that out of the water. This one literature class I'm taking has about 7 or 8 books that you need to read just for that. And then I also read the first 4 Harry Potter books before classes started, and I'm reading 2 books on the side right now, just for fun. Then my next boxes, and all of these are unchecked: move to a new city, sell some merch online. I'd really like to start making passive income. I just need to figure out what exactly I want to sell online. Finish another novel, which I want to do this year, even if it's just finish writing it, not finish editing it. and save $1,600 for Japan. And so then I have rewards for each of those. So for graduating, I'm going to get myself a new fish tank because I've really, really wanted a new fish tank. But I know that I'm going to be moving shortly, and so I shouldn't get a new fish tank until I move because I don't want to have to move all of the fish. Once I get 20 subscribers, I'm going to let myself get some new equipment. So hypothetically, that would be like a light or a camera that is not my phone, things along those lines. For reading a ton of books, I let myself get a new notebook to write in. After I blog 40 times on my site, I'm going to let myself pay for the site because hopefully if I blog 40 weeks consecutively, I'll be making enough money to justify it. And then it just kind of goes on like that. And at the bottom of the page, I have places to go and things to do. And I've almost completely finished my places to go because those are just Chicago places, things that I wanted to do before I left the city, and things to do are also mostly Chicago focused. There is the architectural tour, which I'm going to be doing right before graduation with my dad, and going to iFly, which I can do in a lot of different big cities. So that's how I planned out my goals. I also, in order to determine these goals, I filled out this accomplished notepad that I have. That has the sections today, tomorrow, this weekend, this year, someday, maybe never. And so I always start with filling out the maybe never and defining really big goals for myself. So the first one that I thought of was I really would like to have an amusement park kind of like Harry Potter World or something along those lines that's based off of my work. But of course that's not something I can really influence very much right now, so I put that under the maybe never category. So another one that I can't exactly influence would be speaking at an anime convention, which would be so much fun. I'd love to be a panelist, and I know you can sign up to do panels for like yaoi panels or like maid cafe things, but I want to be like one of those key speakers that they have on their list, because that'd be a really fun way to travel around the US and possibly other countries and see the world and also meet cool people and have cool experiences. Another one that is a maybe never would be to speak fluent Japanese, which would be awesome, but I would probably want to be immersed in Japan for a little while. And then my last one was to have a very big house with a very big greenhouse, which isn't something I can control, but it would be awesome if I could. Like, it's something to write down instead of make $10,000 a year. I know you guys are laughing because like $10,000 isn't very much, but I've never made $10,000 in a year because I've only worked jobs in the summer before. So instead of defining the amount of money I want to have, I'm going to define what I'm going to get with the money, because that just makes more sense. I don't want money, I want the stuff that money can buy. Then I take all of those goals and I break them down to put them in the someday category. And so like traveling to Japan, which I want to do in 2020, will build up to my goal of being able to speak fluent Japanese. And having a book series would lead up to something that would either develop an amusement park or allow me to speak it as a panelist. Another someday that is definitely going to happen is I'm definitely going to have a job that I think is a lot of fun, and I'm definitely going to have a family. So then we move on to the this year's, which is a breakdown of those somedays. And so getting published is something I would love to have a publisher accept my work this year. My work does not need to be for sale this year. I just want a publisher to say, yes, here's some validation. You're doing pretty good at this. Let's see if we can make money off of you. And then I'll be like, cool, let me try and build a following on another platform that I haven't tried yet. Another thing that is a near future would be to get a YouTube play button. That would be absolutely fantastic, and that is something I can actually work towards that will build a following that will make it more likely for me to be invited to do cool stuff, so that I can go to speak at a convention, and so that I could have an anime based off my work, which would be amazing. You get to the like this weekend, today and tomorrow, which I think is really stupid because I usually fill it out on the weekend. And so this weekend is like a week away, so I usually scratch those things out, and I set up my stuff in the night usually, and so today I usually set up for the next day, and tomorrow I usually scratch out and put asate, which I believe is the Japanese word for day after tomorrow. Although it might be ototoi. I always get those two confused. Nonetheless, I have that listed out, and I try to break down my goals as much as I can into day-by-day things to accomplish. And then I have my big overwhelming checklist of it's on the back of sketchbook paper, so that's why there's casually spots on it. I was just messing around with my Copic markers, drawing big anime eyes, and I did not like the way it looked. So now it's my homework and to-do list. Yeah, so this side is homework, and I have little boxes, and then if I'm taking absolutely forever to get something done, or if it has a due date, then there is a little box with the date that it needs to be done by. So like, I need to finish my history reading that is worth 20 points by the 1st, and on the other side of the same page I have my to-do list. And once again, if something is taking me a really long time to do, I write in the date in a box so that I'm like, okay, that's the day that I'm gonna get it done. And so there's things like mail a book that I needed to send back to Amazon, and water my plants. I'm sorry, plants. No, they're fine. I mean, those are the ones that are suffering the most, and they look okay, right? And then at the bottom, I have my videos when I need to film them, and then once they're filmed, I have an edit section, same with my blog, post that I want to write, and then an edit section. And over here I have ideas for an Etsy shop. I don't know if I'm going to do Etsy, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while. And then on the back, I also just have like math notes, things that I need to take into account for the future. And then here's how I lay out my monthly calendars. So you can see I have school and career at the top there to tell me that that is the focus for this month. And then I have the dates. You'll notice that the 1st isn't on here. That's because the 1st is on a Sunday, and I didn't want to have an extra line of things that are already on the previous page. These dots are my version of habit trackers, and so the first one is if I read the day, the second one is either read or write, and then the last one is drawing. I heard this story about a guy who drew every day and got a lot better, and I want to be better at drawing. And then I also have the blue dots and the pink dots. Blue dots are for days to post the blog. Pink dots are for days to post the vlog. And then green dots I put down when I work out, so that that's kind of another habit to be tracked. And then you can see I have the day that the essays due and a goal I want to post something on Wattpad. But to show you how this ends up looking at the end of the month, here's this month. And so pretty slow going. I was going ice skating every weekend. I filled in days when I needed to have meetings, and when I cleaned my room this day, I had to go to the test shoot. Then you can see a whole bunch of really random numbers, and those are the number of words that I wrote each day. Applying to things, job interviews. It usually gets a little more bunched up at the end of the month than it does at the beginning, because I usually try and finish everything off before the next month starts. Here was February. I didn't do a January one of these because I didn't think I needed one in January, especially since I didn't have school. You can see I'm not very regular with my habits, but some days I get all 3 done, and those are really good days. I also have notes that are open on my laptop at all times that are the first things I do every morning, and whenever I'm not feeling good. I stole these from a book who stole them from another book, and it's draw in the chin, carry the crown of your head high, fill the lungs, drink in the sunshine, smile, and put your soul into everything. Then at the bottom, I put assume that everyone already likes you, because that's how I deal with anxiety, is I just pretend that everyone likes me. Woo. So that's how I set up my goals and plan out my months and my years and whatnot. As of current, I'm expecting it to change at some point in the future. I really like this little tiny notebook. It's going to last me a really long time and was like $4, I think. Thank you, Japan, for this beautiful little creation. And I hope that you guys all set great goals and have an awesome week and an awesome month, and I will talk to you guys next week.